Hey YouTube, welcome to Trevor's Vinyl World. This is part 2 of my Rounders movie videos, and yeah, I just want to kind of follow up on the point that I do really like this movie. I just think that now I've seen it enough times that I start to notice the negatives of how gambling can kind of just slowly deteriorate your life. And there's some really cool scenes in this movie. I really like, you know, uh, Mike McD and Worm. They're playing poker against all these cops, and they're right on schedule. I mean, they're doing everything. They're making some money, and they're going to be able to pay off their debt. And it's like when you're gambling and everything's going right, and you just feel alive, and you could just see the smile on Mike's face that we're actually going to be in the clear. We're going to get through this. And then Worm starts cheating because that's what he's known for, having an ace up his sleeve like his tattoo, and he gets caught. And basically they beat the crap out of these guys, and there's nothing they can do. It's an underground poker game with a bunch of cops. So, I mean, they could have killed them. And, they're probably lucky that they got out of there, still able to walk. But they lose all their money. And then, Mike goes from being in the clear to now I vouch for this guy. And he screwed it up. I mean, and it pretty much ends their friendship. And then he goes to Teddy Knish, his poker friend, and usually Teddy Knish is good for he'll loan him a couple thousand or whatever, but in this case, he needs like $15,000 by morning, or they're gonna kill him. And Teddy Knish is like, I can't do that. I got family and bills, I can't give you $15,000. And so Mike's just screwed. And he doesn't want to do it, but he thinks about his law professor, and he's a really old Jewish man, and Petrovsky is the character, and he goes to him, and he nicely explains how he's going to be leaving law school, and Petrovsky says, well, I hope this is temporary, but he kind of has a feeling that Mike also needs some money. And I think he thought he needs a couple thousand, or he needs $1,500 or something like that. So when he says to him, what will it take for you to be free of this debt? And Mike is like, I need $15,000 tonight. And the professor is just like, Michael, I'm not a wealthy man, Michael. And Mike is just heartbroken that he has to ask this professor for this money, but he's got no other play. And the professor looks at him, and it's just like when he was younger and he wanted to leave the yeshiva. He was in this Jewish school, or whatever you want to call it, where he's learning to be a rabbi, and that was not going to be his life. He just decided, I don't see God there. I don't believe in this. And it broke his mother's heart. And because his mother let him go and pursue his dream, to do that for someone, he calls it a mitzvah. And basically that's like a good deed. And he feels that because his mother did that for him, he should do that for Mike. And he's like, if it must be tonight, the best I could do is 10. And Mike is like, would you do that? And it's just so cool. He pulls out his checkbook, and he writes the check as if he's writing the check for $50. And it's pretty much all his money. I mean, the way he says, if it has to be tonight, the best I could do is 10. For an old law professor to give a student basically all their money, it's just a really defining part of the movie, I think. And it kind of shows Mike, damn, this guy is really going out of his way. I mean, how many people would do this? It's just such a cool scene. And I really like, now this is a nitpick. There's no way that that night in like New York or wherever, they're going to cash a check for $10,000 and he's actually not going to pay a fee. Or, I mean, there's no way that guy's bank was open. And I know that's a nitpick, but now every time I watch the movie, I'm like, wow, really? Like, he took this $10,000 check to like some check cashing place, and the fee would be like $800, but whatever. Like, that's not the point. But anyways, it's just such a cool thing of Petrovsky to do that and to give him the money. And then, when Mike goes and plays poker, I mean, he's been through a shitstorm in this movie. And I like how Teddy KGB puts him to a test for all his chips almost right away. Because, last time they played, Teddy KGB took all of his money. So it's kind of like, most people, that would be such a psychological fuck you. And I think if Mike doesn't win that first hand, then, maybe things would have changed. And obviously it's a movie, but I really enjoy the ending. And then, like, back to my point, though, like, okay, so he wins this money, and then he decides, oh, okay, I'm going to go play in the World Series of Poker. I'm back to having 3 stacks of high society. And his ex-girlfriend, Jo, he says, like, hey, can you give this package to Petrovsky? It's a little early. I don't want to wake him. And it's the $10,000 that the guy just gave up. And but he gives this bag to Jo and says, can I count on you to do that? And Joe's like, you could always count on me, Mike. And it kind of dawns on him that he's leaving town. He may never see her again. He's leaving his law school. I think in real life it's a horrible play. I really do. And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer cynic, but I've always watched this movie and been so pumped up to play cards. And now as I get older, it's like, dude, like, I think in real life, you keep the money, you sit on the money, you still play like these little card games where you can make $300, $500. Try to get that girl back. She's a smoke show. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I know that it's supposed to be a big, inspiring, like the Rocky of poker movies, but it just, I almost wish they would have made like a sequel to this and show him at a tournament or something. But it's just, the more I watch this, it's like, dude, like, in the real world, you just can't do this, okay? Don't leave law school halfway through. Don't leave your hot girlfriend to go play cards in the middle of the night. Like, it's just a lot of don'ts. And maybe I'm the cynic now or whatever. I used to sports bet almost daily, and you get to where you feel more than the average person. And obviously Mike McD was a gifted poker player, but sometimes you're still your own worst enemy. And I think that when young people watch this movie, they should take into account that this is not that realistic, okay? Like, even the poker players that are making lots of money playing poker, it's usually from endorsements and people sponsoring them. It's not actually from winning a lot of money at poker. It is very difficult to win tournaments or to even cash in tournaments. But anyways, I love this movie anyway. I just wanted to, maybe get a little debate going with a couple of gamblers out there. Send me a message about what you like most about Rounders or poker. I'm not trying to totally hate on it. I still love the movie. I love Matt Damon, love Edward Norton. If nobody has seen the movie 25th Hour with Edward Norton, that's a really underrated one that a lot of people, I think, have not heard of. And I love gambling movies, so not trying to totally hate on it. It's just a topic for the day. And everyone, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you do go play poker, be careful. And hey, talk to you later. Bye.